fighter jets have launched airstrikes on southern Lebanon following 2 days of deadly attacks targeting Hezbollah fighters.
2 days of deadly blasts rocked Lebanon this week, with thousands of pagers and then walkie-talkies simultaneously exploding, leaving dozens dead and thousands injured. Hezbollah has blamed Israel for the attacks. Daily Mail reporter Hassan Hafoush witnessed the carnage firsthand, and he joins me now from Beirut. Hassan, we really appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you, Ben.
So I've been reading your reporting this week on the Nightly website. You were in a coffee shop on Tuesday when you started hearing popping sounds in your vicinity. What happened next?
So after we heard these popping sounds, I thought there might be like sound barriers. Some people start saying there might be sound barriers, but it was a bit different because, like usually we have one big sound barrier, maximum two sound barriers, but they sound like multiple pops, which are far from each other. They're not in the same vicinity. After that, I started receiving messages and calls from family and friends, and the videos and pictures started coming in. That's when we realized something big has happened, but I still didn't understand what was going on. So I hopped on my motorbike and went straight to Dahi to see, first of all, to go home and to see what's going on as well on my way there. And that's when I reached the entrance of Dahi, which is Tayune, from that I entered in. I saw rushing out with a guy that's covered in blood, his shirt covered in blood. I still didn't understand what was going on. I thought maybe some type of gunfire. I didn't understand what's going on. So after that, there was traffic, ambulances rushing in and out. And that's when I started to realize, and the calls started getting that there's some type of attack that happened on Hezbollah people in Lebanon.
Mm. And then
And
what did you do next?
So my first thing was to rush home, what's going on, and go to a couple hospitals as well to see what's happening. The moment I went home, I was underneath my house. I saw a lot of guys gathering, rumors and stories. They were telling people to turn off Wi-Fi routers, take them out of the outlets, and to be careful of solar panels and all these things, anything that might be connected to the internet. So after that as well, I left my house. I also, for some reason, told my parents just in case to keep a fire extinguisher next to them, just in case some friends. And then that's when we saw hospitals, people getting rushed in, saw blood on the street. Everyone was scared. People were, it was a scene of a horror movie.
Mm. Well, as a reporter based in Lebanon, I'm sure you've seen more dead bodies than anyone should. But what did you see when you visited the hospitals after these two attacks?
Okay, so the thing is, as you were saying, unfortunately, you see a lot of casualties when you live in a country that's like Lebanon, fortunately. But this type of attack showed us something very different, is that number of people that have the same injuries with lost fingers, eyeballs, they lost eyesight, injuries in the face. You rarely saw people that got injured at their waist, but that also happened. If they had paper on their waist, they got affected from the area. But mostly people, because they wanted to read a message, it blew up in their hand and their face. So the most affected areas were the eyeball and the face and the hands. So the scenery is different. I can't I can't really explain it, but you saw a lot of bone, a lot of blood, a lot of flesh. It was something and people were just,
Mm.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like in your reporting, you describe it as apocalyptic, something from a horror movie. And now, your parents live in Lebanon. What is the mood of the general public right now? People must be terrified at how indiscriminate these attacks have been.
Thing is, this reminded us of, honestly, especially for me, because I lived through that, when there were suicide bombings in Beirut and in Lebanon. Because you think you have a normal day, you're going around, and then something happens next to you. At the beginning of and up until now, we used to think, okay, if you go to the south, you might hear some hits, you might see some casualties, but not in this random, unexpected way. Like people would be walking the street, and it happened in front of kids or in shops, and in front of them. It was yeah, literally unexplained. In my opinion, it's even worse than car bombing. Because in a car bombing, you won't comprehend what happened. But with this, what happened these couple of days, our brains couldn't comprehend what's going on, especially on the second wave, because we thought, oh, the beeper thing passed, and then the walkie-talkie thing happened again.
And now it looks like
And
we're on a precipice of a full-scale war in the region. What are people telling you about that prospect?
honestly, they're tired, especially talking about the war, because as you know, it's every couple of weeks an escalation would happen. News starts coming in that a war is inevitable. Israel is going to enter south. A ground invasion might occur any minute, and people keep preparing. Like each of these the news breaks, we're very close to war. A lot of people try to go in different areas in Lebanon. They leave Dahiya, they leave their houses in the south, but they can't do that anymore. It's not normal for a full year to leave their homes every couple of weeks. So some of them just don't care more and are staying put, and whatever happens. Others are trying to leave to safer areas, mostly Christian and areas,
Mm.
and
There,
it's very hard on them.
there are still about 15,000 Lebanese Australians in Lebanon right now, according to the Australian government. And our government is urging them to come home as quickly as possible, if it is at all possible. What's your advice to those 15,000 Lebanese Australians?
Well, my advice for them is if they can actually get on a plane and leave as soon as possible, they should consider that option. But as you know, like some flights are being canceled. But there is also another way, because I did a story as well, about Lebanese people leaving on boats to Cyprus and then leaving the country because of the issues of at the airport. They should also consider just a phone number of a guy that's transporting people just in case they might need it, and stay in safe areas, like especially like Jbel, Tripoli, these areas. It's safer than the rest of Beirut and Lebanon.
Mm. Yeah, it's an incredibly dangerous situation, and we really appreciate you bringing us this first-hand account and letting us know here in Australia what it has been like in Lebanon this week. Daily Mail reporter Hassan Hafoush, we really appreciate you joining us on the Nightly Five today.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you
Okay,
anytime.
stay safe.